Welcome back, fight fans, to another video here on The Fight Game. In our last video of Canelo Alvarez, we took a look at 25 times where he showed perfect skill. We took a look at various fights featuring moments where his skills separated him from the rest. In this video, we delve deeper by looking at 3 particular times where Canelo Alvarez didn't only score the perfect punch, but the perfect knockout. The announcement of Canelo Alvarez's fight against Sergey Kovalev came as a surprise to everyone in the boxing space, particularly because of the very apparent size difference between the two boxers. Canelo, whose last fight was at 160 pounds against Daniel Jacobs, made the very brave jump of not 1, but 2 weight divisions up to light heavyweight, which is 175 pounds. This is definitely not something we see often in boxing, but when it does happen, all eyes are watching. Canelo sought after a world title in what would become his 4th weight division. Predictions from the fans varied. Most thought Canelo would end the fight with body shots, but very few predicted a lights-out classical knockout from the Mexican superstar. The fight started with Canelo throwing selective hooks and jabs. However, we did not see Canelo slip punches like he did in his previous fight against Jacobs. Instead, Canelo's strategy was to use a high guard defense to block Kovalev's punches instead of head movement. This allowed Canelo to respond with certain counterattacks and triggered attacks. So while counter-punching can be defined as punching second, triggered attacks can be defined as particular attacks that come after particular triggers. See here.
He's just making it work. Good left hook.
Canelo waits for Kovalev to land with the right before throwing the left hook. He knows there's an opening there because Kovalev's hand was mid-punch and couldn't possibly be protecting the face. The right hand landing on his glove was the trigger for Canelo to throw the left hook. Here, Canelo waits for Kovalev to land with the right hand before unleashing a left hook to the body.
Kovalev step to his right once, he's constantly going.
Here, Canelo waits for Kovalev to throw the right before landing a left hook immediately after.
Knowing the fighter Canelo is, he's watching that.
Here again, Kovalev's right hand is the trigger for a powerful left hook. Canelo was effective in cutting off the ring, but more importantly, patient. Patience is a power puncher's best friend, and through rounds of wear and tear, Canelo finally scored a knockout with a selection of attacks.
The punches flow.
Went completely and the referee waves this one over, and just like that.
First, the signature use of the forearm to align Kovalev up, then the right hand to the temple, then his signature deceptive left hook, and finally, the straight right hand to finish him off. I suppose you could call it poetic in its own pugilistic way. Canelo's not typically known as a knockout artist, more so as a powerful counterpuncher. But this knockout really does let you know that when Canelo lands clean, he's capable of knocking anyone out. Sure, Kovalev was past his prime, but he's a 175-pounder. That fact does not change, and this victory is one of Canelo's most impressive. This great triumph would spark discussion about who he can now face in addition to the 160 and 168-pound divisions. Canelo's choices remain plentiful moving forward as he spearheads the next generation of boxers, as he continues his pursuit of making his claim of calling this era his own. For the next fight, we take a look at his encounter with James Kirkland. This would be Canelo's 3rd fight at the once-upon-a-time infamous 155-pound catchweight, a division some like to call Canelo weight. It took place in Houston, Texas, and it was the first fight for Canelo after signing a contract with historic broadcaster HBO. It also came 1 week after Mayweather vs. Pacquiao. Canelo, like a lot of his fights, entered as the favorite, but Kirkland was a real strong boxer, and fireworks were expected as soon as the first bell rang. The fight saw thousands of fans in attendance for Canelo Alvarez, and a dramatic victory was on the agenda. The fight began with Kirkland coming out aggressively.
On Jose. Round 1 begins.
But he can fight either way, Jim. He can attack
Canelo is generally a tough fighter to put on the back foot, but Kirkland succeeded in getting Canelo to the ropes straight away. Canelo covered up and remained calm. He knew the pace Kirkland was fighting at was not sustainable. Canelo picked his shots and, unlike Kirkland, he landed them precisely.
On Canelo's right uppercut. Kirkland open to the right hand.
Well, Canelo taking his time and landing the big shot knowing
Right hand. Down goes Kirkland.
In a major turn of events, Canelo knocks Kirkland down with a thudding right hand. Notice how Canelo almost guides Kirkland into the right hand with his left hook. After that, it was a pure destructive display of his selective counter combination punching.
Locked him in the corner. Huge right hand. Left hook to the body. Canelo working. John Sorley looking.
Canelo never gets carried away with his finishes. He remains meticulous and never sacrifices technique. The major difference in this fight was not power, it was defense and accuracy. Kirkland is a powerful boxer, but power has no use if it doesn't land on the target. You only hurt what you hit, and Canelo was beginning to hit a whole lot. Canelo is also one of the boxers today to utilize his full range of motion while punching. Canelo remains old school with the full rotation of his punches through the snap of the shoulder.
Out, just knocked down. Second knockdown. Right uppercut continues to land. There's a perfect straight right hand, and Sorley's gonna stop the fight.
And here we have the final knockout blow, the perfect punch. This punch is one of Canelo's best because we really get to see multiple facets of the classic boxing playbook at work. First, the planting of the feet to maximize the rotation of the right hook, while feinting to the body to distract downstairs. Then, the jolt of the shoulder to initiate the right hook, along with the transfer of weight. Then, the punch landing perfectly on the chin for the knockout blow, and finally, the subtle roll at the end for defensive responsibility. Watch how Canelo also sells the feint with his eyes and head level. This is Boxing 101 at the elite level. James Kirkland would never fight at world level again. Our final showcase in this video is one you've probably seen 1,000 times already. We take a look at the battle between Canelo Alvarez and Amir Khan. This fight no doubt garnered attention for the narrative of power versus speed. Khan, one of the fastest boxers in history, would go up in weight to fight Canelo at the infamous 155-pound catchweight. The result seemed inevitable to most, but it was still interesting to entertain the idea of Khan outboxing Canelo for 12 rounds with his speed. It was a brave step for Khan, and Canelo had everything to lose. The fight started as you might expect, Khan moving defensively with Canelo attempting to cut off the ring. Khan is a very fast boxer, but to win this he needed to make 0 mistakes, and with a scheduled 36-minute time frame, that was almost impossible. Khan had his moments in the beginning rounds, but Canelo, being the bigger and physically stronger guy, seemed relatively unscathed from Khan's punches. As a boxer tires, his movement slows, along with lapses in concentration. As Canelo began to close the gap, he found himself within reach to land counters. Canelo's defensive skills really went underappreciated in this fight. To slip the way he did against a boxer as fast as Khan is extremely impressive. Here, Canelo lands a great left hook. The feint and right hook to the body completely disorientates Khan, leaving an opening for a very clean left hook. Here, Canelo lands a looping left hook over Khan's lazy defense. Canelo would continue to gain momentum with more attacks before finally scoring the so-called perfect punch.
Me dice el productor que la favorita de él es de Zarzamora. Muy buenas noches.
Perhaps the most documented knockout of Canelo Alvarez's career, and one we'll still be reviewing for the years to come. Canelo throws a feint to the body, then follows the feint with his head to sneak in a laser-like right hand to the chin of Khan. You really don't get much cleaner than that in boxing. The subtle roll again after the right hand, showing defensive responsibility, just shows Canelo's class as a fighter. Canelo, like with all his opponents, goes to check to make sure Khan is okay. Boxing is his profession, yet he still carries a great amount of dignity in victory. That was 3 times where Canelo scored the perfect knockout. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider giving it a like as it helps us grow the channel. We'll see you in the next video here on The Fight Game.